Hey guys, I am Lana. This is from Corporate to Crystals. We're back for another video. In this video, I wanted to talk about traversing darkness because in my last video, I cried, I got messy, I got angry, and I talked a little bit about my story. And I'm not just sharing my story for like attention or like to get angry at people. I forgive everybody. Like, trust me, it's taken a long time to get there and be able to like mean it. But also at the same time, like I mentioned how I have gratitude for everything I've gone through, and I do. Even the worst of it, I still can now see like the light within it. And it has allowed me to have such a unique perspective that I want to be able to help people with that unique perspective, like I feel like that's the only reason I went through all of that is so that I can understand a full spectrum from light to dark and be able to help anything in between. And that is how I feel, which I have gratitude for, right? Not many people have gone through the depths of what I have, and that allows me to have a very unique experience, a very unique set of skill sets, and a lot of wisdom. Pairing that with my spiritual gifts, I know I can help tons of people. So we got to get to that part, right? And that's why I have gratitude, coming back on YouTube is a little tender, but at the same time, like the thing that motivates me is being able to take all of that darkness that I went through and actually be able to turn it into something positive. But prior to doing that, I feel like that's almost like a badge of honor of like, I've now earned the right to be able to speak to some of the darkest energetics in our reality. And it is what it is, right? So as I talk through like traversing the darkness, and I've said it before and I mean it so much, there's so much power in the dark. And that's why I literally, like, as I was navigating through these situations, the only way you can kind of like get through some of it is to like hold on to hope, grab some light, light at the end of the tunnel kind of thing, and then find your power within it. And that is something that I've gotten very, very good at, and still continue to like work through. But at the same time, there's so much power in the dark that I feel like a lot of people are afraid of it. A lot of people don't understand it. And because of what I went through and have gone through throughout my entire life, I don't know, I like found beauty in the dark. I found beauty in the darkness. I found power more than anything inside the dark. And so I wanted to kind of like alchemize that energy into this video. When we talk about like finding power within the dark, there's so many different avenues I could like do with that. But most recently, what I chose to do with that is channel all of my gifts, all of my wisdom, and all of my spiritual, like my power, into like finding justice for other people. Because as I'm like working through my own reality, what better way to kind of like take that fire within me and fight for justice overall, right? Not just for me, but for other people. And so one of the ways I chose to do that is I started working on like investigating some criminal cases. And this is something that I've had kind of like I don't want to say an interest, but like we'll say an interest. Like I've always been interested in cases. I've always been into investigating. I've always been into kind of like mysteries and solving mysteries and things like that. And so all of the things that I've gone through not only have created tremendous amounts of wisdom for me to like leverage for investigating, but also they gave me a very unique understanding of crime and like violent crime and why people do what they do. And a lot of my gifts are psychotherapy oriented. And just reading people's energy and understand their psychology and being able to understand what was kind of like creating why they do what they do, right? And so that is actually a beautiful gift that allows me to investigate criminal cases. And as I investigate those criminal cases, I can read people's energy. I can understand kind of like intention, and kind of get to like some of the root of the energetic imbalances that created these crimes. And specifically, my heart really pulls me to violent crimes because of kind of like what I've experienced. When you've experienced it yourself, you have a lot of wisdom and you can see things from a completely different perspective than a lot of other people. So I decided to channel all of that energy into investigating criminal cases. And as I was investigating these criminal cases, it was bringing me so much fulfillment. I was so happy. And I was happy because it felt like exactly what I was supposed to be doing. It felt like I was like turning my pain into power. It felt like I was taking all of the things I've gone through and actually doing something like positive with it. And as I'm doing something positive with it, it could bring justice in for other people. And at the same time, some of the criminal cases I was working on had rewards. And so in a time where I was needing, or I am needing, to kind of like pick myself up, having financial rewards was kind of like, I viewed it as reciprocity. The amount of energy and wisdom and life experience that I have experienced give me that unique perspective to work on these criminal cases and truly make an impact. And then the rewards are the reciprocity back, thanking me for the energy I put into it. So it felt like a win-win. And then also from a systemic standpoint, like I always say, like, if it's good for me and good for the we, then it's a go. And these were good for me and helping create justice for our collective, for specific individuals, for families, etc. It just felt very, very fulfilling. And so I started going down that path and really like digging into criminal cases. And I absolutely feel like there's a piece of that ties into my purpose. But as I was going through that journey, a lot kind of like happened within it. And I think I'm going to get into that in a different video. And it helped me realize that some of my other gifts and some of my other wisdom are just as relevant as like the investigation and kind of like bringing justice to a lot of these cases. Just because we bring justice to one case, like a criminal case, doesn't mean we're getting to the root issue of what caused it. We may be holding someone accountable, but if they don't know what drove their behavior to actually like get to that place, then they could just repeat the behavior, right? If that specific individual that experienced the violent crimes, if, you know, some of these are obviously homicide investigations or missing people and things like that. So like it's heartbreaking when some of the criminal cases, we no longer have the victim here in order to actually do some of the alchemy. But for the families of the victims to understand how did this situation occur? Because it doesn't just come from nowhere. These situations all stem from something. And typically, if you can understand the energetics of what created these situations, it stems back from previous energetics that, whether it be childhood, whether it be trauma, there's something that caused this situation to occur. It's a manifestation of an energetic imbalance. And that's not to say it's anyone's fault. It's just the more we can understand energy and our imbalances, the more we can understand how these situations manifest, right? And as someone who has experienced so many situations that as they were happening, I'm like, how the heck did this manifest in my life? Like, I'm such a smart person. There's all these beautiful qualities of me, but darkness just kept following me and I just could not figure it out, And I really had to understand and get to the root within myself in a million different ways. And by doing that, it really allows me to get to the root within other people and their own psychology, their own energetics, as well as like collective energetics and the root within collective imbalances, as well as, like helping people rebalance their own energy field, the collective energy field, etc. So when I say I'm an oracle, I am a quantum oracle who is a master at quantum energetics and has an understanding of quantum mechanics in order to do this. And this is all stuff I had to learn and figure out, but my brain has been operating this way forever, and I just didn't understand kind of like what it was. So now that I understand what it was, now that I alchemize through all these dark energetics and can see the purpose behind it, I can now look at all of those situations with gratitude. And I can look at all the people and kind of like, situations that manifested, that projected negative energy onto me, that I was able to alchemize into something truly beautiful. And so I view it as a very painful, but a gift, you know? This video is really to kind of like put a period at the end of that sentence. My story needed to be told and needs to be told, whether I liked it or not, because it actually is kind of like what qualifies me to kind of talk through the full spectrum energetics of this time matrix that we live in, that we call, this planet. It's really easy to stay in the light. It's really easy. That's where we all like want to be, is like stay in the light, keep it chill, pleasure, like fun, happiness, whatever. But that's not reality. Reality is the full spectrum, and you can't have the light without the dark. And for me to be able to have traversed some of the deepest, darkest crevices within our collective and make it out and know that my spiritual gifts were the exact reason why I made it out, and like can have empathy and understanding for all of the individuals involved, that is a blessing. And then I get the choice, like, what do I do with that? I could sit here and like do nothing with it, but that's just not me. So my option that I am choosing to do is turn all of those experiences into helping other people. And there's a few ways that I can immediately see that I can do that with people. I'm very good at psychotherapy, so astrological psychotherapy is one of my specialties. Additionally, karmic rebalancing, so helping people understand like their own energetic field and why certain things are manifesting, and helping them isolate the energetics in order to alchemize it into some other experience. I'm a master at that as well. The other one that is very important to me is childhood trauma and understanding trauma in general. Having experienced so much trauma myself, and having to find the root issues of all these traumas that I had within myself, I'm able to isolate energetics down to the root very easily. And so anything childhood trauma or trauma related, I am a master at. And then criminal astrology and leveraging the power of astrology and my investigation skills and my spiritual gifts in order to solve crimes. And I think that those are like some of the most beautiful and spiritually aligned ways that I could take everything I've been through and really help people with right now. And so I just wanted to say that I have all of this as a gift to offer to the collective and be in service to the collective. And so, I have a lot of gratitude for like what I have been through, but it's also taught me a lot, So I'll talk more about what it's taught me in other videos. But for now, right now in our collective, there are people who need help. And I know I can help them. I am ready to help other people with their own karmic rebalancing, childhood trauma, trauma-related energetic imbalances, If you have specific criminal cases that you need assistance with, I would love to help you with that. If you're trying to figure out imbalances within your reality, I am your girl, you know what I'm saying? Let's leverage all the things that I've been through, all the wisdom and all the energetics and my spiritual gifts to make a difference on this planet. Because if we can rebalance ourselves, we can rebalance the entire collective. And especially some of the darkest energetics within our reality, if we can raise the vibration of that entire energetic, we can truly change the world. And so I have so much gratitude for my darkness, the darkness of others, and all the situations I've been in, because hot damn. Yeah, I like literally am a spiritual master who can understand the full spectrum energetics of our planet. The darkest of dark and the lightest of light, the law of polarity. Okay, cool. I'm going to leave this video here and just kind of know that more videos are going to be coming in more ways that we can kind of like connect are going to be coming. Until then, I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.